When Curtis Nightingale was looking for a place to complete his bachelor degree, he knew an educational program that could easily be worked into his already busy schedule was a necessity.
Well, I was actually finishing my associate's degree at Hutchinson Community College, and I was trying to figure out how in the world I was going to go about completing a four-year program. I worked full-time, married with kids. The idea of going on campus on a traditional schedule just wasn't going to work. And so through that process, my advisor at Hutch suggested I look into the accelerated program here at Newman. So I came and visited and looked around. There weren't a lot of accelerated programs at that point, especially that had the quality that Newman had in terms of their reputation. And so the choice was kind of simple for me.
From his start in education as a middle school math teacher to his current role as principal for Bennington Junior-Senior High School, Curtis's passion for educating the younger generation grows stronger every day.
So when I was actually working on my degree here at Newman, I was a cop, and I was actually working undercover narcotics. And so I was literally out all night doing my job, and then I was coming here to complete my studies. And that's why that non-traditional format, that accelerator program, worked so well for me because I could do Saturday mornings, that made sense, and I could do a Wednesday night, that type of thing. And oftentimes I would literally leave from maybe classes here, and I would literally go and do my job. And I worked with several counties, including Sedgwick County, so there were times that I might have been right here.
Most recently, Curtis is proud and excited his school was chosen for the Kansas State Department of Education's redesign project as a Mercury school.
We applied for and were awarded what they call Mercury Designation. There were 7 school districts across the state that were designated Mercury, and of those only 4 high schools, and mine was one of those. And the point of Mercury was simply a vision from Dr. Randy Watson, who's the Commissioner of Education for Kansas, and that was, can we redesign education? Can we do it differently at no additional cost to the state?
Changes they have made include omitting the bell system, adding a longer lunch period, and allowing the students to take ownership of their own schedules.
We don't have a bell system, so we don't have bells going off in our building every hour. And so students internalize what the schedule is, and just like you or I had an appointment to be here at 2 o'clock. There was no bell sending me here, I just had to know. And we're teaching them that type of self-efficacy, that type of student agency of making time commitments, setting schedules, keeping schedules, those types of things. And that's just one small example. In terms of what I'm probably most passionate about is that ability, the work we're doing with that in terms of trying to create students that have got a level of maturity and a level of self-discipline and self-control that they are in charge of their education.
An advisory component has also been added to the student's schedule, pairing staff members with students to serve as advisees.
What we've done is through the advisory, we create a scaffolding for students. It is helping them set their career goals. It's helping them identify career clusters. We start them as early as 7th grade, meeting with an adult staff member every week. They meet on Mondays, and they're going to meet with them and they're going to talk about career clusters. So by the time those students are sophomores and juniors, they've got a map laid out in front of them of exactly what they want to do. And certainly they can change that at any given time, but they have the same tools available to them for that, right? But that's just one facet of the advisory component. The other piece is the social emotional piece, where they're meeting with an adult and they're having an adult conversation. Oftentimes in education, at any given day, I may be the only positive adult contact some of our students may have.
Law enforcement and teaching wouldn't be Curtis's only career endeavors. When the mayoral position opened up in his hometown of Newton, Curtis was a teacher at Robinson Middle School in Wichita. He decided to use the mayoral race as a class project, teaching the students about government and the voting process by running for mayor and getting his students even more excited by involving them in the process.
I've got 8th graders that were my campaign managers, my finance directors, my speech writers. And when we turned it into a whole big project, I honestly didn't think I was going to win, and then I ended up winning big. And I won big enough that based on the way they run their commission in Newton, the majority vote getter is mayor. And so not only did I win, but I was now the mayor of my hometown. And so The cool thing about it though was I can tell you that night of the election, you had an entire group of 8th graders from Robinson Middle School that probably didn't even know where Newton was, were totally glued to their TVs watching that ticker tape roll across the bottom, watching for my name to see where it was at. And man, I'll tell you, when I got to school the next day, you'd have thought I'd done something huge, man. Those kids are so pumped. I don't know if I'd have won mayor if I didn't have my great campaign team. And I wouldn't have that campaign team if I didn't have a teaching degree, and I wouldn't have a teaching degree without Newman.
Curtis Nightingale, the recipient of the 2019 Beata Netemeyer Service Award.